And so in this video we're going to show you how to actually kind of adjust some of your DNA sequence that you have inserted in a Codon Code liner, and just a couple of the neat things that you can do with it. So as you can see here, there's all these different sections of your sample. This is just telling you the directionality. Up here is just showing you the directionality of all of your samples. Kind of gives you a good layout of how they're placed. If you see here, these names all correlate with their sequences up here. It's all pretty straightforward. Also up here on the very top, give you the total number of base pairs that this spans. So this one spans a little over 1,400, maybe 1,500, 1,600 base pairs. You'll see this gray area up here. That's just where all the overlap occurs. The more gray, the more overlap you have. So right here in this section where all of our samples overlap, that's where you get a lot of gray. But out here at the very end, where maybe one or two samples overlap and they happen to be going the same direction, you have just a very little number, or a very little amount of gray. So as I showed you earlier, you can mask the matches, and that makes it really easy to see where your errors are at, where you have red specks, that is. So from there on out, it's just adjusting the DNA sequences to just get them as close as they possibly can. The program does a very good job already, but you can go in and make some other adjustments. So right here, I just clicked on a place, the first place in the sample, or in the sequence, that any real errors occur. And it looks like three of our samples have matches and one does not. So basically you just go in here and you just start checking the work of the program to see what the error is. So as we mentioned here, looks like 3 of them were good and 1 of them wasn't. It usually only gives you about 3 of your sequences at once, but that's okay. So here's 2 out of the 3 sequences that are correct, and here's one that is different than the other 2. Well, other 3, but 2 that you can see here. So we come here and we go, what's the issue? So we can see with not major confidence, but some confidence definitely, that these 2 are relatively right, whereas when we come down here, it's pretty junky. Now, none of these sequences are ideal, but you would definitely go with the 3 that we have the most confidence in over this one down here at the very bottom. So there's a couple of different things you can do. For something like this, you can add a tag, and you can just add whatever tag you want. You can pretty much insert whatever you want. I usually just would do my own custom tag, and you just come here into the notes and just put something like ignore sequence at this nucleotide. And you can confirm it. So whatever. And so that just kind of goes in and it lets you know that you have a little note there for whatever reason. Now, the other thing we can do is, like we said, that whole sequence was kind of junk in that area. We can actually go and see how much of it is actually the junk. So we're looking here in the sequence 003 G08. 003 G08. That's the bottom one here. So we can see that up to about up until it's about 220 mark, it doesn't really have good sequences. So we can eliminate everything up into the 220 mark of that sequence. So what we do is we come here to sequence 003 G08. You can come here to about 220. Maybe a little bit less, because that numbering, that 220, is actually numbering from the very first nucleotide, and that sequence starts at about 20. So 220 minus about 20 is about 200. So we're gonna clip just a little bit back, maybe 190, and basically all you need to do is highlight it, highlight that region, and then the one thing that's pretty crucial to do is to come here to edit. And make sure you do it this way. Sample, you're going to come down here to delete, and then you're going to want to fill from the right. Oh, sorry, I did it backwards. You're supposed to fill from the left. So you Command Z brings it back, but delete, fill from left, and that just gets rid of them. Now we're just going to continue on with this whole process, and I'll continue explaining in the next videos as well.